Greetings, salutations. I young I say, yo, however you said in your neck of the woods, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Le Art of Reading Price Action. Again, welcome to another episode of The Art of Reading Price Action. And in this version of The Art of Reading Price Action, we will be discussing displacement. What is displacement? Well, we're going to find that out in just a few minutes. But before we get into it, I'd like to say for anybody who's been reaching out to me on how to join the mentorship, there should be a join button on the screen somewhere. The mentorship is a part of the YouTube tiers, the YouTube memberships. All of the mentorship videos will be here on the YouTube channel for free every Friday night at 7 p.m. That's if I feel like recording one that week or if I'm not on vacation. And you can tap into them for absolutely free. The mentorship, the paid mentorship is $24.99. What you get for that is access to me. It's $24.99 for my time per month. And you get access to me every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. We cover homework. If there's homework that was put out in the videos that we do on Friday nights, you get access to the membership Discord. You get access to the Q&As on the second Sunday is dedicated to the mentees, but you also get access to the first Sunday and the third Sunday Q&A. So you get the first, second, and third Sunday Q&As, Wednesday night homework review, and access to me in the Discord to ask questions. Now, without further ado, let's get into the art of reading price action and talk about displacement. Now turn your attention over there. Not on me, over there. Displacement. What is the displacement? Displacement is an aggressive, one-sided price move. One-sided, right? If you notice here, there's an arrow pointing up at this one-sided price move. But what do we call displacement? We don't call it displacement. What do we call it, gang gang? I'll give you a few seconds to tell me what we call it. Drop it in the chat within a few seconds. Few seconds up. We call it pay-yow! That's right. We call it pay-yow, baby. We don't call it displacement. Now, when you're looking for displacement, it's a few things you want to focus on. What do you want to look for? First thing, and the most important in my opinion, is that you want to make sure fair value gaps are present. Okay, fair value gaps are present. You want to make sure it's occurring on the higher time frame. Everything is driven by the higher time frame when it comes to the ICT concepts. Why is that? Because we want there to be an evidence of institutional sponsorship. Bing, 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 bing. Hold up, Tim. You introduced a new phrase to me. What is institutional sponsorship? Well, I'm glad you asked that. Well, let's talk about it. But you do want to see evidence of institutional sponsorship during the payout. So, institutional sponsorship. How to identify it in setups. This is straight off of Michael's slide. You see there, ICT monthly mentorship. You can find this in month 3 somewhere. I think it's video 3 of month 3. But if you want to watch his video of institutional sponsorships, go over there and do that. He does a great job. Now, institutional sponsorship for long setups and for short setups. I'm just going to paraphrase both of them. Or I'm going to combine both of them as I speak because you just flip it on his head. Everything is the reverse in these concepts. Institutional sponsorship and long setups. Higher time frame displacement. It can be coming in the form of reversals, expansions, returns to fair value. I know you're thinking like, Tim, you're saying a lot of words that I don't really understand. Don't feel bad. It's just a whole bunch of saying the same thing over and over. Intermediate term imbalance in price, right? Well, Tim, what is that? A move to discount or premium if you're bearish, or sell side or buy side liquidity runs. That's the move to discount, right? That's just a return to fair value, right? A move to discount, that's a return to fair value. Meaning when you get a large expansion and you do a retrace, that's a return to fair value. Your expansion is moving away from an area, and then when you return to fair value, you just retrace or move back to discount or premium, depending on if you're bullish or bearish. And then running sell stops or running buy stops. That's all it is. An intermediate term imbalance in price. And why do you call it an intermediate term imbalance in price, Tim? Well, I didn't call it that. Michael called it that. But in my humble opinion, an intermediate term imbalance in price is just price coming to what we like to call around here an anticipatory reactionary point. It's intermediate. You want it to be on a higher time frame than what you're looking at currently, right? Higher time frame. Just think about it like that. Anticipatory reactionary point. When you move to discount or run sales stops, you're coming to an anticipatory reactionary point, right? Short-term buy liquidity above the market or sell liquidity below the market. Why? Because that is the place where it's ideal for pairing your exits to your trades. So if you get in when price moves back to a discount, or if price runs sell stop, or if price moves back to a premium and price runs buy stops and you get in, you want to be looking for somewhere in price where you can pair your or offset your position. That's a swing high or a swing low, in case you're missing it. Right? And then for the intraday traders, time of day influence, like the London Open, low of day, or the New York low formation, right? Open, high, low, close. Remember open, high, low, close? Whenever you're looking at open, high, low, close, if you're bullish, you want to be buying where? In a discount, ideally below the open. If you're bearish, you want to sell where? In a premium. If you're bearish, ideally above the open. Open, high, low, close, fair value gaps, institutional order flow. Pang-yow! See how they all tying together? They all tying together? I told you. Blocks on blocks on stacks on stacks on blocks. Don't forget the other stuff. Keep bringing it along with you while you're studying. Now, this right here is another slide. All the slides pretty much going to be straight from ICT's, from Michael's ICT presentation. Now, in this slide over here, the daily chart shows price dropping down below an old low. Right, see this old low over here, where sales stops would typically be pooled. Why do they call it that? It's a liquidity pool, because all of the sales stops are down here, pooled up under there. It's just a bunch of market orders sitting down here, some limit orders, but mostly market orders sitting down here, waiting in a big pool of orders. Okay? The aggressive trader can at that time look for lower time frames to show similar price action in the form of a low being violated and a long can be taken. Remember what I said, price is fractal. Now this is all talked about institutional sponsorship right here. These are the clues that you look for to see if institutional sponsorship is present. Now, forgive me for not saying this in the beginning. Institutional sponsorship is in its simplest form a willingness to protect an underlying price move. Meaning, if you anticipate price to move from this low after it sweeps this low back up to this high, what is the algo leaving in place to protect this implied move up? that's what institutional sponsorship is in its most basic form. Now let's continue. You have a bullish order block sitting right here. Okay, here's your bullish order block. And if you're anticipating to get in on this bullish order block, what do you need to have in place above you? Remember we said it need to be some buy side liquidity in the market if you're bullish, sell side liquidity if you're bearish, some buy side liquidity in the market where you can pair your orders. These are all signs pointing that institutional sponsorship may be getting ready to rear its beautiful head. So we got a run on sell stops. We got a bullish order block created when we traded up above that down close candle after hitting an anticipatory reactionary point. Okay. Now, once you get the pow, there's your higher time frame displacement. And you now know that institutional sponsorship is involved. How do you know that? One, the displacement is present because we have a heavy one-sided move that leaves imbalances. You got imbalances when you take off. So you're creating bissies on your way up or creating sibbies on your way down. There's your displacement. Now, your clues that you had, you came to an anticipatory reactionary point. You got a pang out. You attacked some short-term buy side in there. Remember? Those everything. Let's go back. We came to an intermediate term imbalance, right? Not only did we move to a discount, but we ran sell side. Okay, we were looking for short-term buy liquidity above the market. Why? Because it's ideal for pairing long exits too. Move back down into a discount, coming down here. We ran sell stops. Okay, and then we attacked buy side with a pow. So now we got displacement, expansion with imbalances. That's your displacement, a heavy one-sided move, and it's creating fair value gaps, and it's on the higher time frame. Why do we want it to be on the higher time frame, Tim? Because it takes a lot of money to move the higher time frame this far in one direction. That's a lot of institutional money going to work to move. These are daily candles, by the way. It takes a lot of institutional money to make a move like this. Now, we're not going to chase price. This has nothing to do with it. I'm just throwing in an extra little bone for those who want to sneak off and try to trade right now when you shouldn't be. You're not going to enter right now. You want to wait for a retracement back down into the discount, because we buy in discounts and we sell in premiums. But what is price? What has the algorithm left in place to let you know that a move back up will be protected? You have, in this case, a bullish order block down here. You got imbalances here. You got a lot of PD arrays that stacked up at a key level at your anticipatory reactionary point down here. A lot of confluence of PD arrays to let you know that the institutions are going to protect these lows now. Why? Because their stops are below there. They've already taken other people's stops, and now their stops are down here. And they're going to protect these stops with the little clues left behind in price. And this is when you're trying to get in. Whatever your entry model is, you shouldn't have one because you're just a mentee and you're just learning how to read price right now. And just like that, we move back up. And once we take the new buy stops, the institutional sponsorship is letting you know that, hey, it may be safe to continue up to this. Why? Because we've moved up to what? Equilibrium. Right there. Equilibrium is what? Fair value. Fair value? I saw that before. I saw it where? Back here. When it said when price moves to, returns to fair value. Higher time frame displacement or return to fair value. We've returned to equilibrium and we're at fair value. So there's a possibility that the institutional sponsorship is going to continue to protect their sell stops and continue to attack the buy stops. Let's get into one other thing that you want to watch for institutional sponsorship and with displacement. When you are bullish or bearish, you want to see how price reacts. By the way, this is the same price move, but just on a lower time frame. You want to see how price reacts at opens, at discount or premium if you're bearish, at lows. You want to see how price reacts. If you're bullish, you want to see price continue to displace if it drops below an open. You want to see price continue to displace if it drops into discount or goes into premium if you're bearish. You want to see the displacement continue at key price points to let you know that institutional sponsorship is still supporting the move. If you fail to see displacement at key places, or if it displaces in a different direction than you expect, you may be wrong. For example, the blue lines on this chart, they represent the midnight open. As you see, whenever price comes below midnight here, we get displacement. Come below midnight there, we get displacement. We pull back into a discount, we get displacement. Right? We pull back below a low, right? We get displacement. It's like price is continuing to get displacement when it drops to key price points, below opens, in discount, above opens, in premium, depending on if you're bullish or bearish. So you want to continue to see the institutional sponsorship involved with the displacement. So with displacement, you want to make sure fair value gaps are present. You want to make sure it occurs on a higher time frame. And then on a lower time frame, you want to see that displacement continues if you drop below a low, if you're bullish, above highs, if you're bearish, below opens, if you're bullish, above opens, if you're bearish, if it pulls back to a discount, if you're bullish, if it goes up to a premium, if you're bearish. Anytime price hits these key price levels, you want to see displacement happen to let you know that institutional sponsorship is still on your side. And with that, that brings us to your favorite part of the episode, the homework. For today's homework, I want you to go back through price and find examples of displacement on the daily chart. Right? And once you find an example of displacement on a daily chart, I want you to take notes on the 60-minute chart of how price reacted during that time. Why the 60-minute chart? Y'all already know. I like to do the 2 time frame down method. So if you're looking at displacement on a daily chart, you have the 4-hour, then you have the 60-minute. I like to look at it 2 time frames apart. That's just what I like to do. Then, while you're taking notes of how price reacted during that time of displacement, I mean, from the time you see the displacement to the time price come back to the discount or goes back to a premium, if you're looking at bullish or bearish, I want you to note, how does price react during that whole time of the displacement, and looking, focusing, paying extra attention, if you will, to how the institutional sponsorship affected the price. And use the ES continuous contract so that it give you a broader range of, things to pick from. And with that, that brings us to the end of another episode of The Art of Reading Price Action. Again, it's your boy, Aranya Grande, aka Big Spider. Y'all be safe out here in these trade streets, man. I'm gone. Yeah.